Good morning, everyone. It's tourist season on the North Shore. Visitors are descending on Salem for the haunted happenings. That city's mayor is here this morning to talk all about it and more. It's time to go on the record.
From WCVB Channel 5, the inside word from Washington to Beacon Hill. Today's newsmakers are going on the record.
Good morning, everyone. Happy October. Hello and welcome to On the Record. I'm Ed Harding.
And I'm Ben Simoneau. Joining us remotely this morning is Salem Mayor Dominic Pingallo. Mayor, thanks for having us, spending some time with us.
Oh, happy to do it. Thanks for having me on.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor. So let's start with the obvious. Obviously, it is Salem's biggest month of the year. More than 1 million people come to the city each October. This is a decades-old tradition leading up to Halloween. So this year is going how well or not so well so far?
It's going very well so far. A lot of the festivities and the attendance levels are very weather dependent because most of the events are outside. It's hundreds of privately organized events and activities throughout the city. So the weather does play a big role. We've had a nice couple of weeks of October weather here so far. Right. So we've seen a good number of people in town.
Yeah, right. The weather has been spectacular. It got a little chilly, but it's been spectacular. So if you look at because politicians do, and everybody does, look at the progressions. How does this year compare to past years?
I think in terms of the number of visitors that we're seeing, it's pretty consistent with what we've had for the last couple of years. Nothing out of the ordinary in terms of the numbers. That could change over the course of the month. Halloween falls on a Friday this year, so we're expecting people might still be in town for a couple extra days.
We love the weekend Halloween, that's for sure, as the parent of young children. Yeah. All right, everybody who comes to Salem brings money with them. Obviously, that's a great thing for businesses in Salem. It grows the city's economy. How big of a boom is it for you, the city budget, and to keep the city afloat?
It's really important for the city. So our downtown storefront occupancy is close to 98%, which is great for a smaller city our size. And a lot of that comes from the economic activity from the visitor economy. It creates a lot of direct spending, around $280 million in direct and indirect spending in our community for the businesses, 1,200 jobs that are related to tourism in Salem. And from the city's perspective, we do get a few $1 million from hotel and motel excise, meals excise, and parking revenues. But it's also a large operation. We're a city of 45,000 people, 8 square miles. So to welcome 1 million visitors here over the course of a month, it's a big operation for us.
Would you want to do that year round? In other words, the greater question is, how do you extend the growth, not just during the 5 weeks, the 4 weeks of October, and maybe the one before it? How do you turn it into a year-round impact?
So we encourage people to think about visiting Salem any time of the year. The shoulder seasons, the summer is great. Everything that people love about Salem in October, which is a special time to be here, it's all here in March, it's all here in June. There's no bad time to visit Salem, and all the activities, the attractions, the restaurants, the things that people enjoy are here 12 months of the year. We are seeing increased visitation throughout those shoulder seasons and the extra months of the year.
I want to ask you about a new report out from the Massachusetts Municipal Association that kind of highlights the squeeze that local governments are facing. We know federal aid is going down. State aid has gone down quite a bit over the last 25 years, but yet city and town governments like yours are still facing that 2.5% property tax increase cap, despite all the high inflation we've seen over the last couple of years. Would you like to see changes to that 2.5% cap?
Look, I think it's a conversation we need to have. It's a number that was set quite a few decades ago, and it's not based on what we're seeing right now with inflation and costs going up. I also do agree that the property tax is a very regressive form of taxation. So if we have more opportunities and tools available to cities and towns to think about how we can pay for the essential services that people need, great schools, investments in our parks and public safety, every opportunity we have to have a conversation about what are our options, so we're not overly relying on property taxes, but we are meeting the rising cost of providing services that people in our communities really rely on.
You mentioned a toolbox. I would imagine that would indicate you'd like to have some other forms of taxation. Are you thinking about a local income tax, perhaps? What would you like to see in your city, which frankly has a lot more businesses than maybe some of the more suburban towns around you?
Yeah, I mean, just as a great example, the Municipal Empowerment Act that was filed by Governor Healy does provide for options for cities and towns to increase the rate of excise on meals and lodging, both of which are really important to Salem as a destination. It helps us push some of the cost burdens for providing services off of our residents and onto the visitors. And so I think those kinds of opportunities are things that would be very beneficial to Salem.
That works in Salem. It doesn't necessarily work in a smaller suburban town. So do you think a local income or a local sales tax should be on the table?
I think everything's worth having a conversation about. I mean, Massachusetts is one of only 12 states in the country that does not have a local sales tax option. So I think that it's at least worth a study, because relying on the property tax is really challenging for many people, for older adults who are on fixed incomes, for people that don't have access to that kind of liquid equity from their homes. You know, they can't keep relying on they can't keep paying property taxes that go up and up and up. But we also have costs that are essential for people, for grade schools,
Right.
police and fire services, for roads that are functional. The costs for providing all these services are going up as well.
Up and up and up, as you just mentioned. Mr. Mayor, under the umbrella of all politics is local, the big news in Washington right now is the government shutdown. Has that had any impact on Salem's? Let's bring it right to the street. Has it had any impact on Salem's haunted happenings?
Well, in terms of haunted happenings, the most direct impact is we do have a National Park Service site here. Salem Maritime Historic Park was the first national park historic site in the national park system. It consists of Derby Wharf, many historic buildings, including the U.S. Customs House, the Friendship, which is a tall ship, our downtown visitor center. When the federal government shut down, most of those facilities closed. We were able to get the downtown visitor center reopened just this week. But in our busiest time for visitation,
Right.
It's really a negative impact on our ability to serve the public and to tell our stories through these historic properties when they're closed.
And grade it for me, would you? Is it a significant? Does it have a significant effect on haunted happenings, or is it just a peripheral effect?
I think it's not a direct impact in terms of the access to services. There are bathroom facilities in the visitor center, but we also bring in over 100 portable restrooms to deal with the crowds. We do that every year, so we don't rely on those restroom facilities. But it does impact our ability to tell those stories about the full scope of Salem's history, including the great age of Salem maritime trade that built the American economy.
We are speaking with the mayor of Salem because it's October. Our conversation continues right after the break.